Welcome guys to my YouTube channel, Happy Coding with Frank. Today I'm going to introduce you guys how to do line plot with Matplotlib in Python. I will demonstrate the whole process in Jupyter Notebook. So now let's get started. Here's a list of objects I'm going to get involved today, starting from a simple line plot, then useful advanced setting with more examples later. First, let's import the package by typing from Matplotlib import pyplot as plt. That's it. Now we have the core library for doing a plot. Also, we need to import the random package so that we can create in some random numbers for better demonstration. Now we're done now with importing. Now we're generating two-dimensional data, x from 2 to 26 by step s2, and y are generated randomly from a list of numbers. Remember, x and y must have the same size, so I put k equals the length of x. Finally, adding plt plot xy with additional plt show will illustrate our first line plot. Quite simple, huh? It looks clean, but definitely not very informative. So we're adding more parameters and advanced settings in your next part of our tutorial. The first advanced setting here is to control the figure size of a line plot. So it's nothing but using the variable fig equals to plt the figure with the parameters fixed size equals to 20 by 9 pixels. You guys can have any figure size that you want. To set up the DPI equals to 80, which represents the resolution of the whole plot. Then, of course, you can save the figure by using the figure.save as a PNG. Now, I would like to combine what we already have now by copying and pasting all the pieces and put them together to see what it looks like. Okay, now is the second one, then to copy the third part, which is the plt plot part, to end of the new Jupyter Notebook. And finally, it's the plt.figure. Well, we already pasted. Now let's run it to see. Boom. Now we have a much larger and clearer plot than before. Cool. Now let's start to the second features, which is x or y ticks settings, or sometimes we call it labels. It's nothing but the number that's shown on the x-axis. It's very simple, just using plt.x ticks, right, over there, and the parameters over there I want to show is x, because for now in the plot we don't see all the numbers, but from here we want to see all the x in the list to show on the x-axis. Now we copied it and paste it under the plt plot and to run the chunk to see. Now it's very clear that every point will have x numbers on the x-axis over there. Okay, it's not losing anyone. But sometimes we want to skip one, so we adding column 2, which only show one and skip one, not all of them, and run it. And now we successfully skip one and only leave the neighbors. Now why don't we introduce more complex parameter for x ticks? So now let's teach you guys how to do that. So let's make 2-2, which is called rotation part. Okay. So firstly, we need to copy the plt part over there, and to make it more complicated, let's introduce a new variable called underline x ticks, which is going to be a collection of all the x ticks in terms of string. So for each element in this x ticks, we can separate them into morning part and afternoon part. So the morning plots a string of I for I in x if I is less or equal than 11 o'clock. Okay, so which represents the morning part, and make the rest of them afternoon part. Okay, don't forget the AM and PM part. Okay, over there. Add AM and add PM over there. So we're done. Just have to put them into the quote, the PLT x with the underline x, and the rotation make it 90 degree over there. Okay, so what it looks like, people might confuse. Now let's copy it and paste it under the x to see what it looks like. Okay, now all the strings are turned 90 degrees. What does it looks like when we don't have them? For the 0 degree, just squeeze into each other, which is really hard to recognize. So we have to make it back. But personally, I prefer a small number, which is 30. It's usually make it really looks really nice. Make it clear for each morning part and afternoon part of the X sticks. Now let's do labels. So firstly, we need to do plt.x label and give the label name, which is time, which represent each hours, and the y labels, which is how much money I earn each hour, and plt the title, time versus money. And we need to copy the whole thing under the x ticks, and to run it, now we have the title, x-axis, y-axis in the correct way. The fourth additional advanced setting is what we call another plot, which means we want to plot two line plot in the same figure, right? So to do that, we copy the y thing and trying to do underscore 2, and then we do plot a plt the plot x y underscore 2. Now we are done. We're just trying to simply copy the whole thing and under the original one, copy the y underscore 2 and also the plt thing, and to run it. Now we have the two different one in the same plot. So go ahead with the fifth feature, which is a great line. So you can see now the plot didn't show very clearly which interval for each point are in. So the solution is very simple. We're just simply adding plt.grade. We have additional parameters, which is alpha, represent the resolution here. We make it 0.1. Let's see what it looks like. Let's copy and paste under the plt title and run it. Because it's too low, we cannot see it clearly. Let's make alpha into 1. No, this is too overwhelming because the transparency is too high. I better make it in between, like 0.3. Let's see. Now it's very clearly to see the interval for each point. Let's go to the sixth advanced setting, which is called the line style. So, firstly, instead of just doing simply plt the plot xy, we adding a lot of parameter after that. For example, color equals red to line style. Let's make it a dash dash. Then it's the line width. Let's stretch it to make a standard one, which is 5. Finally, it's the alpha to make it 0.5. Okay, let's copy the whole thing to replace the original one, the original Thinko one, to see what it looks like. For now, you can clearly see there's a very beautiful red dash line to replace the original one. This represents the white one. So for the white 2, let's do the same thing, but change some values to make color blue, and line style to make it the column, which means the dot point. Let's get rid of red of them. Let's see, the white 2 are the blue dot point here, the dot line over there. Last but not least, let's do the final section, which is adding the legend over there. We're just trying to use the legend to differentiate y1 and y2 in the plot. To do that, firstly we need to copy the whole thing, the PLT plot stuff over there, and adding after the y, which is label equals to y. Okay, then we're adding an additional line, which is PLT the legend. Here we got a parameter which is called local. To log, we can set upper left, upper right, lower left, or lower right, whatever you like. I just want upper left. So after doing that, we're just trying to update what we have in the combination of the Jupyter. The label equals y and y underscore 2. And of course, the PLT legends, we copy, paste it under the grail thing. Okay, then after running the trunk, you can see very clearly we have the whole picture over there, very clear. That's what we have today. Alright, that's all we have for today's tutorial to teach you guys how to do a very simple line plot. So thank you guys for watching me video and for subscribing me, and I will send you guys more tutorial later. See you guys, bye.